What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So we are currently watching the market nuke live like crazy. It has been wild seeing everything dump so heavy over the last few days here. So I want to cover a few things, a few altcoins, a little bit of some updates in the market as well. So like I said, everything has been going crazy here. So let's take a look here because So, if you guys have watched my channel for a long time, even like a month ago, I was actually very, very bearish right over here. I was actually expecting what we're seeing here now to occur right here. Never did. Looks like it's coming back down now, finally. I have been waiting for this. It's been hard to know which way that Bitcoin is going to go because it was holding up here fairly well for a while. Until we had this liquidity grab and then just instant huge dump here. I thought we'd potentially at least try to go back up to, some sort of area near resistance back up at previous all-time highs before we would get a rejection and then maybe go down. But it looks like, ever since late January, early February, this has just been chop slash down only, which that's just crazy price action. But that being said, I know a lot of people, if not literally 95% of this market that I've seen from YouTube, Twitter, across everything, guys. Everyone is so bearish on the market, and I totally get it. Like, I was bearish up here, but now that we are finally dipping, this is what I've been waiting for months. I'm not going to say, oh, I sold the top, I sold this and that. Like, I'm still holding the majority of my positions right now. But I've been waiting for the market to actually correct because now we're seeing Bitcoin has chosen which way it's going to go. We're not sitting in limbo waiting for whatever the hell choice is going to happen. Now we know it's finally dipped. I'm not saying that, it's going to bounce tomorrow and we're going to new highs in a week. Not even close, but the fact that it's come down, it's decided what it wants to do. And I still have full faith that this cycle is going to eventually, at least at some point in 2025, turn around and we'll make, I don't know how far of a new all-time high we'll make, but I know Bitcoin will have at least another run, another attempt at a move. Maybe it does something like 2021, it's almost a double top, you know what I mean? No telling what's going to happen, but to me, there's no way that the cycle top is in February or March of 2025, based on previous cycles, time frame wise, we are still in the somewhat early innings before altcoins even, remotely started to take off. Like, yes, in 2021, most alts were probably starting to prime, starting to move at this point for this, first area, because this is when ETH in 2021 also took off, but we haven't seen ETH do anything this cycle, which is why most coins, especially, most utility from RWA, gaming, even a lot of AI coins outside of, some of the newer ones. That's why we haven't seen anything do anything over the last few months here. Bitcoin has been the main coin just actually making new highs and just trending up over here. Altcoins, most of them didn't do much. Meme coins went crazy, but they are now literally at zero. They are down very hard. But the point of what I'm trying to get at, because sometimes I tend to ramble like that. This is actually bullish in my eyes, the fact that we are finally dipping and Bitcoin is making a decision. So now it's going to be just a patience game, waiting for Bitcoin to finally come to a point where it's not just, straight in free fall. Like, I don't recommend DCAing the minute we're in free fall like this. I like to wait very patiently for price action to show signs of reversal. But also the sentiment. The sentiment has been terrible ever since, again, even same time. Sentiment has been horrible for altcoins when even Bitcoin was at like over 100K, right? Sentiment overtakes everything. It's like even in our Discord, there's been many different setups that have looked very good. But again, when sentiment is just this bad, or as bad as it has been, nothing is going to hold up. I'm telling you, support levels will be broken so fast. That's how this market is. Um, so with that being said, what was I pulling up here? Yeah, I was gonna say potentially, if we do see, I don't think Bitcoin is gonna come all the way down to 70K, 72. We are definitely going to see this trend. Potentially, it might bounce a little bit. It's probably going to make at least two more lower highs and lower lows. This is on a daily, so if we go to a 4 hour, it's probably gonna bounce again. It might do one more bounce until it kind of looks like it's slowing down before it goes into an actual bounce here, depending on what the RSI does also. Which, as you can see, we're right now, RSI is actually like at one of the lowest points we've seen in a long time. Like this, I wouldn't even consider this nearly as low because this is just clearly in the red. But now this is a double super oversold area. This does not happen too often. So at least for the time being, very short-term bounce is probably coming to an end here. But let's get into some altcoins too. Because, if you guys have seen my channel too, I am fairly bullish on Hyperliquid and its ecosystem. They just continuously generate a ton of profits from there, from a bunch of different stuff too. I want to pull up a post too. Yeah, it's like Crypto McKenna, shout out to him here. Just pulled in 3.5 million in fees in a single day. And that was driven purely from perp trading, now executing around 15 to 20% of Binance's perpetual volume. That's kind of nuts because Binance has, it's night and day. If you compare Binance to almost any other exchange, whether it's for futures, spot, a lot of different types of trading, it's kind of blows most exchanges out of the water. And the fact that Hyperliquid can pull in that kind of percentage it's pretty good. Even though I know this market 95% of the time doesn't even care about profits, doesn't care about revenue and sustainability. They just care about, speculating on the next meme coin or some stupid ass shit. If we look at it too, 3.53 million in revenue. I'm trying to figure out exactly if there's other things or other factors they look at when looking at for raking in by fees and revenue. Oh, did not mean to download that, but that's impressive. Because obviously we got Meteora and Jupiter, which are some of the top Solana, applications. They're raking in a ton of money in fees. Of course, Tether, Uniswap, as always, too. But even Pump Fund's kind of down. And I wanted to pull that up, too, because there was a tweet. Like, this is crazy. I think nature is actually healing right now. On Pump Fund, the number of coins bonded per day looks like it is legitimately at an all-time low right now for at least the time being, all the way back since late 2024. RP Pump Fund, January 24th, February 25. Yeah, about a year and a month. It's crazy. So no, I think that's going to be a great thing because I actually have been very hyped to see a lot of utility, at least getting that more attention. I think a lot of this market flush was needed across the board. All this speculative degenning it's taking a toll on the overall market, and really seeing legitimate projects actually start running and moving. And even for Bitcoin too, because Bitcoin has just been nuking, but you can kind of see the spot ETF, the inflows. The outflows are actually crazy. I was gonna pull it up. Where is it? You can see the amount of millions. Maybe a billion something, 1 point something billion at least. Outflows as of yesterday. Today it's probably gonna be fairly similar, maybe a little bit less of outflows for Bitcoin, but the whole market's nuking, guys. Like some shit like this. Yeah, I got whacked out on that. This one, I thought we were going to see a tiny little bounce. This is kind of high, but this one I wanted to see, it just bounce a little bit. Like I said, I got whacked on that. But it is what it is. Just kind of messing around, looking at different things in this market, because at some point I just expect stuff to chop around. sit sideways once it finally chills out, and that's going to be the time to, really reallocate into those top projects. And even a lot of conviction. Like for me personally right now, I still think Mog and BitTensor are some of my largest positions in the market currently. Even though Mog continues to just dump to oblivion, all meme coins are just trending to literal zero. But I still have full faith in this coin. I think it's one of the best ETH betas. And for me, I still fully believe Ethereum is going to need to make a run for it at some point this year. Because if ETH doesn't do that, I don't think we're going to see any sort of alt season that everyone is expecting. I think the alt season we've mainly seen over this bull run so far has been from Solana and Solana based coins and Solana based narratives, things that can kind of intertwine with that. And Solana here too, I have a feeling it's probably going to bounce. I don't think it's going any lower than 120 over the next few days, aside from potentially a couple wicks well below it. Could do that, but I know for a fact it'll bounce right back. And it'll probably bounce off this level. I don't see why it's going to go any lower than that, especially in this sentiment. So be patient with Sol. You could probably... Actually, I don't want to give anyone a trade setup idea, but like I said, I don't think it's going any lower than 120 in this general support range. Very simple support area. But it's going to be a lot of patience that is going to be required for a lot of this. Virtual 2 has been down for a long time. I've been kind of waiting for this one to pull price action like it's doing now. Which if we go to like a 4 hour, it's actually looking very good. It's not too down. I think because it is down, 80%, 90% in the last 2 months already. I think it's almost done dumping, like completely. And it looks like it's trying to range now, which is always a good sign. RSI is looking fairly bullish on a semi-high time frame. It's not looking too bad. But for me too, it's like when we're in this sentiment, I don't want to be looking 100% for longs when the entire market is super in the depths, really down bad, you know what I mean? You got to be looking for both directions, which is, always what I'm trying to focus on. That's why I try to be very upfront with you guys about the risks of the upside and the downside in this market. Because no one knows what's actually going to happen ever. But, another one, too, is BitTensor. I don't know how this thing is still just, going down. It was looking pretty good for a little bit. Came all the way down. But same thing. I will be continuing to add to BitTensor. This thing is just... I think if AI crypto is going to win in 2025, this is going to be one of the clearest winners outside of it. Yes, it's a massive market cap. I normally do not hold high caps, but guys, after digging more into, BitTensor and Dynamic Tau with the subnets, seeing what they've been building and seeing how the sentiment has been horrible for lower caps, even things that are sitting, a few hundred million. Some coins that, are sitting that high have looked like they're, 100K, shitters on Sol. Just because something has a high market cap, it's like at this point in the sentiment, it doesn't even matter. It'll still dump 70, 80, 90% some of these coins. So, but BitTensor I have a ton of faith in. It's not going anywhere. And I do actually like Hyperliquid. But this chart to me is not looking good anymore. If we kind of replay it here, I would say the chart was looking pretty good here for a potential long, which would have played out, I feel like, in a better sentiment. But again, because the sentiment is just terrible right now, everything nuked. Like I said, zero support levels will be held when Bitcoin's dumping, when the sentiment is horrible, So outside of that, guys, I would just be patient in this market. I would not be degenning. Do not be over leveraging your trades. Do not be trying to make it all back play right now. It's like almost everyone in this market is feeling the heat of this. Unless you were the genius that sold the top, and you've been sitting waiting for the dip, which again, I know everyone has their own thoughts, their own theses at different times. But if you sold the top, you sold a lot of profits. That's really good. I'm glad you guys did that. But like I said, I still have full faith in this market. It's just going to be still a patience game, as rough as it is. Because I'm not, for me, I can't flip bullish until I see signals like this completely just play, like, I need to see this time frame play out from what I believe the cycle is going to be to conclude myself as full out bearish on, the whole market. As in 2020 into 2021, what did we see? We saw Bitcoin dominance really run. And I think if we're going to see an alt season of some sort, I would expect to see something similar. I'm not saying I don't need to see this dump for 4 months straight and go all the way down, but to see some sort of downside, not this, that's still literally maintaining it in the trend. But I would like to see some sort of drop, at some point this year. If we can see that, that will conclude something to me. Be like, okay, well, we have now seen probably some altcoins run. I'm definitely way more bearish, meaning we're probably more towards the top after this plays out versus right now when we haven't even seen it play out yet. We see a total 3. Like, look at this chart. You can't even tell me this isn't one of the cleanest, most bullish charts in the market right now. I'm sorry, this is crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So I think this includes Ethereum. But this chart is crazy, guys. Like, I don't see reality where this is just like over, where it does, we just trend sideways. Maybe we do. I don't know. But again, for me, I think it's still maintaining very good structure for altcoins to actually, eventually bounce, bounce, and then start another leg up. Potentially, I don't know why, maybe July, August, we could see another huge run. But, to me, everything still looks like it's on track from a higher time frame. But right, at the same time, every single coin is down bad. Even some of these. Ondo is still actually coming into a pretty good discount range. It's just crazy. Crazy to see all these coins just not holding. Some coins that are still in the green. But, overall, everything is just taking a hit, guys. But like I said, be cautious, be safe in this market. Do not be, full porting. The coins that you're kind of down on, don't be selling them to full port a brand new launch or something this week, trying to make it all back in one trade. That's how you will lose the entirety of your portfolio. Because, again, if we're bullish, when this market can return, or when it does return, a lot of these bounces will make up for a lot of losses, especially on coins that, I personally have been buying, where we sold, we're waiting for a massive dip. A massive dip comes, we enter on a dip, but the dip keeps dipping and dipping and dipping. Things like that is basically what has been happening in the whole market. But I think on very solid projects, something like Virtual, where, like I said, I've bought this dip very hard, and yet it's continued to dip and continue to dip and continue to dip. But at some point, I think very fundamentally sound projects are going to bounce back. And I think potentially in a matter of days to even a week, couple weeks, it's like, any of those losses that you've held on to for a while will recover. But you also got to keep in mind many projects will not return. They will not bounce back ever again. And, a lot of meme coins, if not 99%, will not return whatsoever. A lot of AI agents, a lot of AI projects, 100% will not return. And just a lot of low caps and micro caps in whatever range of different ecosystems that you've been paying attention to. So it's going to be very important to stick to a lot of majors. Even though on my channel, guys, it's like I've always been someone, I'm fully focused on micro caps, low caps, but right now this sentiment is just not, it is not it for it. You should not be allocating into, sub $1 million coins at the moment, until we are very confirmed that the market's going to be going higher, or at least Bitcoin and ETH and altcoins are starting to catch a bid like crazy, where we're really going to start seeing some major upside for it. It's not the time to be going full out risk on right now. If anything, stable up a little bit and or continue to hold on to positions. I'm holding literally onto everything that I've been comfortable holding. A while ago I sold some bags, but some of the higher cap stuff I'm literally just holding and actually adding to. So that's all you got to be doing in this market right now. Just be patient. And again, do not over leverage. Do not take a 500x long, on some random new dog shit Inu coin that drops, tomorrow. Just be patient. Hold on to strong bags. And some of the strongest coins will return and potentially make new all-time highs. I have zero doubt about that. Again, I think when Ethereum finally can turn around, if ETH can actually break all-time highs, start running in 2025, everyone that you have been listening to telling you that alt season is not happening anymore, they will flip bullish again in a matter of hours. If ETH just catches 3 good days, 3 massive green candles, everyone is going to be like, oh shit, alt season's here. That's all it's going to take. I'm telling you all right now. So just be patient, hold on to really strong bags. And I really think holding on to ETH-based plays from now into 2025 is super key. But that's what I'm betting on. Worst case, if ETH doesn't run, altcoins don't run, then we don't get an alt season. That's why I'm betting on ETH. I genuinely believe that. If ETH doesn't run at some point, we're not going to get an alt season in 2025. So to me, there's no reason why you shouldn't be betting on ETH and Ethereum-based ecosystem plays right now, especially top-tier utility, and especially in narratives that are going to be popular, like RWA and AI mainly. Those are going to be 2 massive ones. Outside of the more speculative ones, something I'm bullish on is like physical AI or robotics. DeepIn is another one I'm very bullish on that I really haven't covered lately, but DeepIn I'm very bullish on. Things like that. So outside of that, guys, just be patient. I know it's ridiculous in this market right now, but that's kind of what I'm paying attention to. Literally just some high caps right now, some ecosystems, and I think, once this sentiment can kind of really cool off and show signs of life and reversal, I think we're going to start to see a bigger bounce than, we're expecting. So I appreciate you all watching that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.